Hey, what's going on, guys? It's time to take a look at another version of the HG The Origins Zaku kit here. This one is going to be a little bit different, but you guys know that I love this kit, as in like the base kit here, the Origins version of the Zaku 2. This one is actually from Kukuru's Doan's Island, and this is the Zaku High Mobility Surface Type Egg Bus. There's a couple different versions of this kit that are coming out and have come out in the Premium Bandai line. This one is the one we're going to be taking a look at here today, but a really cool new design, new version of the Origins Zaku 2 basically, but this one, so it'll have some very familiar parts, but some new parts in there added as well, which is perfect for a Premium Bandai release. So let's go ahead and check it out here for today's video. Alright guys, as always, with this being a P Bandai box, we don't have a whole lot to see on the outside of the box here, basically just the titling there for the suit, but on the front we have a photograph of the painted kit here with all the markings and everything on it there as well, just in this monochrome color, in this case brown, just based off of the mobile suit color, which is, as you might have guessed it, brown based. Interestingly though, right off the bat there, a very large sheet of water slide decals, mostly for the camouflage markings, interestingly enough. So if you wanted your camouflage to be in any other color other than what you got here, you're gonna have to do it yourself. But if you are happy with what you have on the runners, this looks like it's going to be an interesting challenge, trying to use these water slide decals to apply your camouflage pattern onto the kit. Not sure if I'm gonna bother giving that a try. It's an interesting concept, but okay. Anyway, yeah, but we do have some other different water slide decals in here, including like for the mono eye, and then more importantly, I think, at least for me, we have some of this like just general kind of striping like we have on like a lot of the MSD kits there. Some other markings here, Xeon markings and small little caution markings and stuff, kind of your typical water slide decals. You have some of those on there. So really, really awesome to see water slides included with an HG kit, I will say. So we unfortunately don't see that too often. It would have been nice to also have a full color manual, or at least a manual that has a color image on the front, but unfortunately not. It's just the black and white, simple, basic manual here with the parts list right there. We are going to have a color and decal guide back here at the back, so where all the decals are going to go there. And then we have the color guide down there at the bottom, just obviously not in color, so you just have to just read the text there. But the text is all in Japanese and in English, so you shouldn't have any trouble checking out some of the custom color mixes. Otherwise, the rest of the manual is just kind of going over the construction. And again, if you've built any of the HG The Origin Zaku 2 kits, you should have a pretty good idea about like how this is going to go together. It's going to be a little bit different there around the lower legs, I guess. It has a different weapon, but otherwise, I mean, overall should be like a pretty familiar build, I feel like. Interestingly, no other stickers included with this kit. I was kind of expecting that some of those markings would also be on just kind of your typical sticker decal sheet, but nope. So we can just get right into the runners here with the Polycaps PC001 there in gray. And we've got two of runner SB18 for our saber part here. I would say saber effect parts is more of just the part for the saber itself. For the sword, we have a deactivated one, or just a simple gray one, sort of like a light bluish gray, and then a bright yellow one there for when it's activated. Runner A, a nice big runner here with, I think it's just three different colors. This brown here at the top and the brown here at the bottom looks to be the same. I don't think that it's slightly different. I think they're the same color brown, but we do have some like really, really dark brown, almost black over here on this side, and then just the primary kind of light tan color there for the main armor color. On runner B is another nice big full runner here. In this case, it's just all in this medium kind of slightly light brown kind of color there for all of our new parts anyway. Those first two runners, all new parts for this kit, or just new runners anyway completely. Runner C, however, is not a new runner. This is the same runner from the original HG The Origin Zaku 2 kit, but this is just going to be in a softer material here in gray plastic for the hose parts. Runner D is in this kind of slightly metallic gray here for all of our inner frame and joint parts. A lot of familiar parts on here, although the runner is from 2022. It's basically a lot of the same parts that we've seen in the Origin Zaku 2 kits for years before that, but it's just kind of a little bit reworked runner in this case for this one, but a lot of familiar parts on there, of course. Runners E1 and E2 here, E1 being in a darker brown, E2 being in that light tan color. Runner F is an older 2015 runner of just the hand parts and a couple other additional parts on there, once again in this kind of metallic gray. Runners G1 and G2 are once again in a kind of medium, kind of orangish brown there, and then that light tan color for those runners. And then runners I and J are more parts in that metallic gray. Runner I has a bunch of new inner inner frame and kind of detail joint parts. Looks like a little bit maybe some sort of weapons parts on there as well, parts for the handle of the sword. Runner J, it looks like, is mostly primarily just the new weapons parts here for this kit, the new version of the Zaku machine gun. This new kind of blade weapon that it has there, kind of big massive knife, but very cool. That's all the runners. Let's go ahead and get it put together. All right, so here is the kit all built up. It's awesome, and a very familiar build, obviously, because, you know, there's a lot of familiar elements for those of you guys who have built maybe 1 or 2 or a dozen or so of the different Zaku 2 variants in the HD The Origin line. But a lot of really cool new parts in there, especially in the legs. We have some cool new parts there for this kit, in the head as well, which are really, really nice. So there's a lot of very interesting aspects to this. A very interesting color scheme as well, which may not be for everyone, and it's definitely going to look very different if you do choose to apply the waterslide decals on there. I haven't done that, and I probably inevitably won't use those waterslide decals for the camo markings on this, to be honest. But if you're not a fan of the brown on tan, you may not be into the color scheme on this one, but let's go ahead and check out its accessories. And so while mentioning the new parts here primarily in the legs, the accessories actually are another highlight of the new parts that we have here with this kit. The improved drum magazine MS machine gun type G here that we have with bayonet is a really cool new take here on the standard kind of Zaku machine gun. A little bit different style here to it. Obviously it has that big bayonet or the heat knife there attached on. You can remove that and use that as a separate weapon. A little bit different style here for how like the camera is mounted on there, which actually just popped off. Let me just pop that back on there. But that can move side to side. The secondary handle can also fold out like that, and then on the handle we have pegs actually on the left and the right side. Kind of really don't need one on that side, but a little peg there on the handle for pegging into our trigger finger hand. And overall just nicely detailed, really cool new design there for that weapon. In order to use the heat dagger, you just have to remove this barrel tip part. You can pull this off of here, pop that barrel back on. So there's what the machine gun looks like without that attached onto there anyway. Very cool. And then yeah, our heat dagger can just be held in hand just as a separate standalone weapon. Really, really cool. Very nice design on that. We also have this attachment piece for being able to clip this onto there, and we can mount this onto the side skirt here. So that can be plugged onto there like that, kind of as we would a heat hawk on like a standard Zaku 2. So that's pretty cool. And then we've got the heat sword. Now this is with the attachment piece and with the inactive blade on the heat sword. So this attachment piece will just go right here onto the backpack. Just pop that into there like that for storing that on the back. Really, really cool. Very nice kind of callback to the Dom with that. Not only does it have like these big lower legs, kind of similar like a Dom, and then it has the heat sword as well. So that can just pull out of there like so. Now to switch it to the active form, we have this yellow blade for that. We're also going to swap this piece here at the handles, and instead we're going to put on this piece here, which has those kind of little fins opened up like that, which looks really, really cool there. Makes the heat sword look pretty awesome with that kind of added effect on there. Very lightsaber looking, I will say. Other than that, for the rest of our accessories here, we've got our holding hands there on the kit at the moment. We've got our trigger finger hand, which you can use for the rifle. And for the left side, you have this open expressive hand. It can also be a rifle support hand, or however you might want to use that. We've also got an extra drum magazine here for the rifle, which I believe should be able to be plugged onto the back skirt here, although it doesn't show it in the manual as far as I could find. And you can just plug that onto there right there. As you can see, we do have 2 different hard points here on the back skirt. You also have your hard points there on the side skirt, and then on the backpack you can use those. So a lot of points where you could certainly customize this with some different weaponry. Last but not least, we have our action-based connector piece, because for some reason all of the HD The Origin Zaku kits are made without a hole in the crotch for plugging onto an action base, and instead use a connector piece. Not really the biggest fan of that. I would prefer just a hard point to be able to pop this on an action base a little more easily, but let's go ahead and take a closer look here at the design. Now the mono-eye is molded in there. We do have new parts there for the mono-eye inside, although without a sticker for that. I'm not going to put the water slide on at the moment. You aren't really able to see the mono-eye very well, unfortunately, but you do still have this mechanism on the underside of the head that you can pop the head off and turn that to turn the mono eye off to one side or the other. Pretty cool new slightly different design here for the antenna, the fin on the head, rather than it's normally kind of like sticking straight up or even slightly back. It's sort of like pointed a little bit forward. I did go ahead and remove the safety flag on that as it does have one. And for the most part, the upper body is pretty familiar. You do have the new part of this piece in the shoulder shield adding for a spike on that, which is kind of interesting. Over here on this side, we do still have, unfortunately, the seam line in the middle of the shoulder armor here for the left shoulder. Around here on the backpack, these thruster bells can move slightly. We have the same nice articulation generally all throughout everywhere on this kit, and we'll see that in posing in just a minute. But some nice new detail here for these new front skirts with that separate kind of gray part right here. The side skirts as well with that separate piece for the gray kind of vent detail inside the side skirt, and the back skirt as well. So a lot of nice new kind of color separation there for these new skirt parts. And then like I said, down here in the lower legs is where we're going to have a lot of great new parts here with the color separation and the details all throughout up underneath the feet there as well, all looking really, really cool. When you bend the knee, we still get this nice full knee bend there, even though you have these pretty big chunky lower leg parts. No separation of this knee part, even though that knee piece here, like this kind of cross on the front of the knee, is made up of two separate parts there. As you can see, it really would have been cool if the top part would have been like attached to the joint and like moved with the knee there, unfortunately, but it's just kind of all stuck on the lower leg. But what's really interesting and allows for the bend of the knee to be so nice is that we have a gimmick that allows this leg frame to kind of slide. So if you see this, it extends out like that. So normally, if you just have it in a standing pose, it would be somewhere like here. And that only allows for a very small bend there at the knee. But actually, if you extend that out, just slide that out there, that's what allows you to get that full bend at the knee, which is pretty cool. But let's go ahead and take a look at some poses with this, and you can kind of see all that articulation in action. But like I said, it's very, very similar. Aside from that new gimmick to the frame of the lower leg, pretty much all of the frame and kind of joints and all the articulation is going to be as we've now gotten very used to from all of the different versions of the Zaku 2, the Origins kit, and the Kukuru's Duans versions. You know, they're all kind of based off of the same kit, so we have really nice articulation with these. It's a really, really fantastic version of the Zaku 2 in its many, many variants. This is just happens to be the latest one, but they've all been really nice. And what is new and different about this particular version, does it make purchasing, even if you already have 1 or 2 or 3 or more different versions of this kit already? I would say yes, but just because of the new skirt armor, the new lower leg armor pieces, and just kind of the new lower legs in general, is all just really, really cool with this one. The new Zaku machine gun with the bayonet and everything is another cool weapon. So the weapons and accessories and all the new parts for this kit are very cool. In my personal opinion, definitely warrants picking up this kit, even if you already have some other different versions of it. And while I love the fact that water slide decals were included with this kit, and I would hope that Bandai would start to include water slide decals more and more in all of their kits, at least in all of their premium Bandai kits, and ideally in all of their Gundam kits in general, the markings that we have for this are cool. That said, like the water slide decals for all the camo and everything, I'm not really sure how well those are going to work out. If any of you guys have tried it and have used it for your kits, you know, let me know if you've had some luck with that. Yeah, I think it's a cool idea. It's nice for them to try that, but I mean, I think when it comes to doing camo, really painting is kind of the best and only real way to go about it. But overall, I have to say it's a pretty awesome kit, and I would highly recommend it to you guys. If you're a fan of the design, definitely check it out. If you guys want to check out some more different Gundam model kits and tools, supplies, and paints, and all that good stuff, you can check the link in the video description down below to USA Gundam Store. We've got all sorts of cool stuff there for you guys to check out. Leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. If you're not yet subscribed, I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for all of your support. And let me know what you think about this kit. Are you a fan of the design, or are you a bit bored with the many variations of this kit out now at this point? So let me know. And as always, thank you guys so much for checking out the video here today. I really appreciate it. Until next time, hope y'all have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.